Hallelujah! The Cubs finally win on Sunday. It feels like a freaking miracle. That and more coming up on the postgame show right now. Welcome into finally a winning Sunday edition of the Setup Man postgame show. I am Alex with the Podfather himself, Kyle Stanley. If you are listening, make sure hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and you're going to want to hit that like button. More on that in a second. But hit that little bell so you know all the fun content and stuff that we are up to. Make sure to hit that comment section. We'll get to your comments. Obviously, a lot happened this weekend, and a lot of positive things happened. So let's get that chat rolling. And yeah, I mean, where to even... Oh, before I even get to the Cubs stuff. So you in Setup Man Nation know that sometimes we take phone calls. Well, here's the deal, folks. If we get those likes to 50 in the next, let's call it 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to open the lines. So,
got 3 so far. Let's go.
3 likes, 47 to go. We'll keep that on a countdown. If we get to 50 likes, we're going to open the phone lines. And why wouldn't you want to talk to us on such a wonderful Sunday? And with that said, the Cubs win today 6-2, completing the sweep of the first part of the Crosstown series. It was so epic that Clark the Cub even climbed the Wrigley Field scoreboard. Kyle, where to begin, man? What an awesome weekend of baseball.
Yeah, man. I mean, I've just got some notes here for you. I mean, from the outscoring standpoint, 26-8. I think if you wanted to throw that little joke up there from Joe, I got you actually. Here we go. PCA actually outscored the White Sox 10-8. And if you include his 2 more RBIs, it would actually be 12-8. So there you go. I mean, out of the day there.
Yep.
That one's from Joe. Thank you, Joe. I mean, 34 hits compared to 25. They didn't exactly out-hit the crap out of them, but the things that stood out to me, no errors in the 3 games. The White Sox made tons of mistakes. The Cubs only hit 2 home runs. I mean, we thought they were going to hit 2 home runs in the first inning in Friday's game. And on this 3-game series, this 3-game weekend against a team that's not very good, they only hit 2 home runs, but it was the 9 stolen bases that really stood out for me. They finally started running again. So for me, man, this is what you're supposed to do to bad teams. Cubs are now 7-2 against teams that are under 500. They went 5-1 this homestand against bad teams. And that's what you're supposed to do. So let's get those likes up. Keep hitting the like button. In fact, you gotta hit the share button. We only got 19 people in here. This is the Sunday. The Pope is not a White Sox fan. The Pope is a Cubs fan. Why is not all the Catholic Church in here celebrating the Cubs right now? Let's go. Share this with your Cubs fans, friends. Let's get some people in here so we can get to 50 likes and can get some callers in the final segment.
Yeah, for sure. Hit that like button. Hit that share button. Yeah, you know what's weird about this is I'm happy they finally swept a bad team, quote unquote bad team. And yet this almost feels relaxing. They, as we've jokingly said before, TCOB, they took care of business this weekend. It was just not really any stress. They took care of business. All right, let's talk about it. It was just so nice. What was
nice? They were 3 boring wins, but boring because you never really had much stress, and that's a good way to win a game.
Yeah, and we'll talk about the upcoming series in Miami. I feel like that one could be a little frustrating. It's a gut feeling. We'll get to that in a little bit. But that's why this homestand was so important. You have 6 games against subpar teams, took care of business. And we can't talk about well, let's start with this game in particular. Colin Ray, again, continues to just be solid, man. Where would this Cubs team be without Colin Ray? He went 5 1/3 today, only gave up 1 earned run, 4 hits, 2 walks, 3 Ks. The only earned run was a solo shot to Miguel Vargas, who apparently is a Cubs killer now.
Right?
But,
Oh my
I
gosh.
mean, it's so bizarre, Miguel Vargas. But anyway, besides the point, where would this team be without Colin Ray, Kyle? He's been so valuable.
And you know what? I don't even think he had his good stuff today. Like the first 2
No.
innings, they were hitting him around pretty good. Again, White Sox made some mistakes. That very first mistake that was made on Sunday was sending the runner home on a very shallow, quote unquote, sack fly opportunity off the bat of, I think it was Palacios. Was he the one that hit it?
I believe so.
Whoever's batting third. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Palacios. And Seiya suddenly, like, I don't know, Gold Glove left fielder. He looks really comfortable out there in left field, just throws an absolute strike. And, so Colin Ray gets out of the first inning with 3 relatively decently hit line drives to get out of that with no runs scored. And then, you got Luis Robert starting off the second inning with a 104 off the bat rocket. And it just kind of looked like, if you look at the underlying metrics of today, Baseball Savant, his fastest fastball is 94.8, where we kind of have gotten accustomed to this new version of Colin Ray, sometimes hitting 95.5, 96. And so he was the run on the fastball didn't look like it was quite there. The bite on the slider didn't look like it was quite there, but man, he figured out kind of a way to be able to get through this. And one of the things I like that he said in the post-game show is like, you learn early on, what are the guys kind of like biting at, what are they falling for, and then you just kind of try to exploit that the rest of the game. And so he did that. I mean, he got through a really, really like just great Sunday that at the end of the day, you've seen better outings from him so far, but he was still really good. And the final line was exactly what you need if you want to win on a Sunday.
Yeah, and then the bullpen took us home, which I have a question for you because I didn't agree with it in the moment. And I still don't really know how to feel about it all, 3 hours later. Ryan Presley coming into the 9th, and I realized the score at that point.
You mean the 7th?
Or I'm sorry, did I say Presley? I meant Julian Merriweather. Sorry.
Oh, Julian Merriweather. Okay, gotcha.
Late night last night. Yeah, no, Julian Merriweather in the 9th. And granted, at this point, they were up 6-1.
Yeah.
I didn't like it. I don't understand. Was it a confidence boost? I didn't understand it.
Well, I think you have to get that guy right. Like, he's on the verge of like, you either need to get right away or you're going to be trying to find another team. That's kind of where I think they're at. When we see all the moves that they've made in the bullpen and how quick of a hook they've had. I mean, for God's sakes, Luke Little has thrown a third of an inning or something like 2/3 of an inning this year. And it was all because he walked 4 guys in one outing. They said, nope, back to Iowa. I mean, that's not a move they would have made in the past. So I think that Julian Merriweather is in that boat of like, dude, you need to start performing because we got other guys down there that are ready to come up. So, I mean, especially when Shota comes back, you want to probably keep Cade Horton up and put him in the bullpen, or someone's going to go to the bullpen and stay in the rotation. So I was fine with it because Porter Hodge was still going to be ready. So if Merriweather gets, gives up the first 3 or 4 guys get on base, you bring in Porter Hodge, lock it down, and we're good. I don't think the White Sox were going to mount a comeback. The feeling, the vibe there was just like, okay, go ahead and throw someone out there. So I'm okay with it. He needs to get right or he needs to be shipped off. And he didn't get right today. He didn't look good. He just, no. I mean, it's not good right now from Julian Merriweather.
No. And so the interesting question I asked myself, say you had a choice. Someone's going to slap you with a dead fish in the face. Okay. Weird scenario, but you have to get 3 outs, no runs, no base runners. Who do you trust more, Ryan Presley or Julian Merriweather? I think it's Presley, and I don't think it's close.
And good Lord, I mean,
right? If you have to choose between those two or get hit in the face with a fish,
I mean, do I have to choose between those two?
If in this scenario, yes, it's those two.
I mean, right now, I'd rather go with Presley, which is crazy because he literally we're less than 2 weeks removed from him not recording a single. Was it not a single out I don't think he recorded a single out in that 8-run, 9-run, 10th inning. Yeah, so we got a few other people saying, yeah, Presley recently. Our good friend Will says Ryan Presley. Yeah, I mean, I don't like having to choose between the two of them. But what I will say is I would just rather it get to the point where we don't have to choose between the two of them. Let them get right. Keep putting them in. I was more so concerned about Presley coming in when it was a 4-1 game in the 7th inning, and I was like, oh goodness, like this feels like we could have lined up our bullpen pretty well for this situation, given the fact the last 2 days have been pretty low leverage. But you know what? He did his job. So I was happy with it. And he got a double play. And that was something the Cubs did a really good job of on Sunday, too, as they turned their double plays. Speaking of doing a good job, the chat is not doing a good job of hitting that like button. We got 40 people in here, and there's only 12 likes. Again, if we get to 50 likes, we will open the phone lines at the end of the show here because we want to hear from you on this Sunday and throwing up those prayers of the Cubs beating the Pope-filled White Sox.
Yeah, I was trying to find, because really, before we move on to really the news of the day, I was curious. So if you take out Ryan Presley's blow up against San Francisco, what his numbers would be? Actually, according to Baseball Reference, nope, never mind. Ruined argument. He's got a 21 ERA. So, I see. Never mind. I don't know how to use Baseball Reference. This is the joy of doing this live.
Who are you trying to look up?
I was trying to do Ryan Presley if you take out the San Francisco game, but you have to take it as a whole on Baseball Reference.
Yeah. No. It's you got to manually do that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. We're not going to worry about that then. Let's get to the news of the day as I tried to make a terrible argument. So, remember that Matt Shaw guy who's pretty good and they sent down?
Who?
Matt Shaw. He plays third base.
Oh, that guy. That top prospect. Yeah.
So, he seems to be coming back. It was kind of a roller coaster today, and I have all the tweets here to show y'all. So it started with Tommy Birch this morning at 11:30 Central. He posted, "Hey, Matt Shaw's not in the lineup," and shortly after that, posted, "Oh, he was in the lineup though." Game ends. Everyone's kind of like, "Oh, that's weird." Game ends. Then there's this tweet from Jesse Rogers, who covers the Cubs for ESPN. He says, "Oh yeah, Cubs sweep White Sox, yada yada," and then he says, "And their top prospects should be rejoining them on the road. Matt Shaw will get another shot at third base after a good run at AAA." That seems like Jesse knows something. And then Paul,
a little bit,
of the Chicago Tribune, of the Chicago Tribune, shortly after Jesse posted that Craig Counsell said Matt Shaw is under consideration to be called up for the Miami series. So reading tea leaves, kind of seems like Matt Shaw's on a jet to Miami for tomorrow.
Why not?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, great job, Vidal Brujan. I mean, this is the reality of the situation, is that you are surprised when a third baseman makes all the plays and has even one hit in a game, let alone an RBI, and then Vidal Brujan with a multi-hit game today, plus showing off that speed. I mean, I think if Matt Shaw wasn't putting so much pressure on the front office to make this call right now, you would probably just stick with like, okay, go with the hot hand, Vidal Brujan, let Matt Shaw get a few more reps. But I mean, he's been on fire. We already talked about the stats. We've gone over all that. I mean, he hit 2 home runs the other day and back-to-back games. He hit 2 home runs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, and you know what the positive thing is, it's all to center or right field. And that's where his power stroke, that's where his good swing is at. And we just didn't see that at all when he was up in the majors. His 1 home run was to left field, very few hard hit balls to right field. So that's the guy that I want to see come back up. And I would like to see better defense than the first time around. I know everyone was kind of like, oh, he did fine. I think because we're comparing him to Gage Workman and John Birdie, it felt like he was fine, but he still made 3 errors, and that was not a very good pace for a very good defensive season. So I'd like to see him make some more plays. Great guy. And again, I'm just ready for him to come back up and to get this thing done. I guess the question, Alex, is like, okay, you got Vidal Brujan, you got Nicky Lopez, you got John Birdie. You could argue you got Justin Turner as well. So you technically have like 4 third basemen in a pinch on this roster right now. Like if you call Matt Shaw, what are you doing?
Yeah, which actually, before I even give my answer, I was just quick looking at my Twitter notifications, and if you needed another sign that this is probably happening, Shahadav Sharma of The Athletic, he wrote a column. I didn't read the column, obviously, because we're on air, but the headline is Matt Shaw likely returning to Cubs has made improvements. So another one that says this is probably happening. So now, as you said, here are the candidates to get either sent down or cut. It's Brujan, who quietly had an awesome weekend this weekend, last 3 days. You have Birdie, who frankly is probably my candidate because him and Brujan have similar skill sets. Brujan, just because he's a younger dude, maybe has a higher ceiling. Maybe. That's not saying much. So, and Turner, at this point, I'm keeping him there. Clubhouse presence, had the walk-offs, been really good with runners in scoring position. There's value there. I'm not touching that. For me, it's John Birdie right now, and I don't love saying that. Well, Ballesteros, too, would be the other one. Maybe you send him down. It's just a swap, but I'm not sure.
I think Ballesteros is going to have to go down, whether it's for Shaw or for Hap. I don't see Ballesteros staying on the roster right now, which in itself is not because of his performance. You can look at it and say, oh, he's 1 for 12. He has hit the ball very hard. He's hit the ball in play every time. And I'm going to tell you right now, ground balls are a lot better than pop-ups and weak fly balls. So he's close, and he hit 2 balls at 106.7 and 107 today. He just didn't have anything to show for it. So Ballesteros is close, so he will be back up at some point. So if it's Shaw for Ballesteros now, yeah, but then again, Alex, like you now have it's technically like 5 third basemen on this roster plus your backup catcher, and that's your bench. Like that's kind of wild. So I'm kind of with you. Like if you put a gun to my head and I had to make a decision right now, it's Birdie, because he just looks completely lost on this team. He does not seem like he has got the same winning vibes that the rest of the team does. Nicky Lopez, you can tell me all of his offensive stats all day long. I just don't give a rat's ass. He is the best glove on the infield minus Dansby Swanson across the board, starter or bench. And for that reason, he's extremely valuable to a team that doesn't know what its third base picture is. So keep the good glove. Vidal Brujan, after what he's done, he's got the speed. He's got even probably more speed than John Birdie. And for that reason, I'm like, okay, you just proved that you played a decent third base. You just proved that you can put the ball in play. And you just proved that you can make all the plays at third base for a couple games in a row. That's light years better than what John Birdie's been doing. So I think for that reason, I'm with you. It's Birdie.
Which, again, if you would have told me that a month ago, well, even 3 days ago, we were all like, oh, okay. In our group chat, okay, Brujan will be the cut. He's not really playing. And then he had an awesome weekend, and now it's like, all right, well, John Birdie, what have you done for me lately? And, yeah, I'm glad you brought up being Hap, because that means really this week, assuming Hap is good to go, obliques are tricky, so I don't know. He says Tuesday he'll be back. I don't know how much I believe that, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. It's tough because then Amaya rolled his ankle or something yesterday, but finished the game, and they didn't say anything after or before the game today. So if Amaya, for whatever reason, would have to hit the IL, okay, Ballesteros stays because you need that extra catcher. Although that kind of scares me. That's another conversation. But yeah, I think I think it comes down to Birdie and Brujan. And then it's, okay, they're kind of redundant skill sets, and both can play the outfield in the pinch. You got enough outfielders. You don't really need that, but they could. Both have good speed. Both are supposed to be contact guys. John Birdie went 0 for 4 on Friday with 4 Ks. Like, I'm kind of just over John Birdie. It's not like the defense has blown me away either.
No, well, the defense is not good so far for John Birdie at third base. I mean, he's made a couple nice plays, but he's botched a couple really easy ones. And we got a comment here from Dave. Y'all taking calls. Dave, we are at 23 likes. We got to get to 50 likes. So hit that like button, and we will start taking calls here towards the end. But yeah, I mean, we got 50 people in here. If every single one of you just took 2 seconds on your phone or in your desktop here to just hit that like button, we'll take calls. It's pretty simple. So thank you all for joining us here on a Sunday anyway. But yeah, Alex, I mean, we could talk about the whole third base situation until we're blue in the face, but all it comes down to is if Matt Shaw comes up and hits 250 and has an OPS, this new version of Matt Shaw, OPS of 750, and just plays a decent third base. We don't have to have these conversations anymore. That's at least a good starting point for the top prospect in the Cubs organization. And I mean, goodness, look at what PCA has done after a really bad first couple call-ups, a pretty decent second half of the 2024 season, and now he's basically an MVP. And so I don't think Matt Shaw is ever going to be considered a quote like MVP, maybe not even ever a superstar type of player, but if he can follow in PCA's footsteps, that would be tremendous.
Yeah, and we said it Friday, and I want to reiterate it on this show too, because it sounds like it's happening. We as fans need to be patient. Most rookies are bad. He's hot right now, but he's going against lesser competition. He's getting the call of the show tomorrow to be back. We need to be patient because it might not be pretty. It took PCA a month or two after he got recalled to figure it out. And now, I mean, PCA won the weekend this week. We just kind of said, okay, he outscored the White Sox, stat of the day. But his weekend, he had 14 at-bats. He went 8 for 14, 8 RBIs, 2 triples, a homer, and he had that outstanding backhanded catch yesterday. It's just, he won the weekend. And I'm not even talking just the Cubs-White Sox weekend. I think he won the weekend in baseball. He is a national star, and maybe that's a conversation for a different show. I guess we kind of had that on Friday, but he is a national star. He won the weekend. Even social media, MLB's Twitter account was all over PCA this weekend.
And let's be real here for a second. By the way, up to 31 likes, so the call to action is working. Please keep on hitting that like button. We got to get to 50. We're going to go longer here just so you guys can get to 50 likes so that we can go ahead and take callers. We want to hear what Dave has to say. We want to hear what Madeline has to say. I'm sure Will wants to jump in here too. So let's just play scenario for a second here. I know that Craig Counsell just said in the post game today, basically like when Ian Happ comes back, he will be the leadoff hitter again. If PCA is not leading off today, do the Cubs, I'm not going to say they lose this game, but do the Cubs even score 4 runs? Like it probably ends up being, and you have, this is all completely hypothetical. We can't, one of my biggest pet peeves is when people say like, oh, if only that had been a strike, or if only that had been a ball, if only it had been called safe, the next guy did this. Well, the next guy, it doesn't matter because the situation is now changed. So, but I will say PCA leads off the game with a triple. Next batter, Kyle Tucker grounds out. PCA doesn't score. Next batter, Seiya Suzuki hits a shallow fly ball to left field. The left fielder, I think it was Baldwin, did a great job of getting rid of that ball and threw a one-hop strike to the home plate, and PCA still beat it by a full body's length. Ian Happ, if he hit that triple, it would be a double. He would have gotten a third on Kyle Tucker's ground ball, and then he would not have tagged up on that ball. Michael Busch did single after him, but again, situation becomes different. Now Michael Busch is batting with a man on or with nobody on and 2 outs rather than a man on third with 2 outs, okay? So the situation is different. Later on, Vidal Brujan scores on that double by PCA. For anyone else, that would have been a single. PCA is the only guy that gets to second base on that. Vidal Brujan scored because PCA got to second base. I'm just saying these are the types of things, the chaos that he creates. And I don't need him to absolutely bat leadoff in order to create that chaos, but I just need him getting the most reps possible. So if you don't bat him leadoff, can we please try him at second? Can we put Kyle Tucker at third, Seiya at fourth? Just try that out. Tucker isn't exactly lighting the world on fire. I don't need to see his at bats more than I want to see PCA's right now. Can we just at least do that? And oh, by the way, Ian Happ batting fifth in his career is his best position in his career. He is, if I can get these up here, 119 games. Listen to these stats. 119 games, 26 home runs. He's never hit over 25 home runs in a season. He's hit 26 home runs in 119 games. He has 85 RBIs from the fifth spot, and he has an 885 OPS. He's never had a season, an overall season over, except for his rookie season, over 800 OPS, I believe, if I'm quoting that correctly. PCA at the leadoff spot through 7 games so far this year, batting .414, 3 home runs, 11 RBIs, and an OPS over 1,200. Like, I'm just saying it's a small sample size for PCA. It's a large sample size for Ian Happ at the fifth spot. I don't know. I would love to see it. I would love to see it. However, I don't think Craig Collins is going to do it because he already said that. So can we please put PCA batting second? That's all I ask.
I actually had that same thought during the game today because it's just another way of lengthening your lineup. Because currently you don't have a prototypical cleanup hitter. Michael Busch is fine, but he looks probably a lot better in the 5th or 6th spot. And then it just lengthens your lineup. And I think the thing about PCA leading off that's so tantalizing is he gives you an explosion at the top that no one else on this team can provide. And not even on this team. No one really in baseball really provides. At least this year. I mean, I think you retweeted it, but it's like for the MVP race, there's like 4 candidates. It was Tatis Jr. from San Diego, Corbin Carroll, the Diamondbacks, PCA, and there's one other name I'm forgetting. But those are really maybe it was probably Ohtani. But those are the guys that can change your lineup. The Cubs finally have a homegrown superstar, and he cemented that this weekend. He can change the game really quickly. Now, he will still chase, so it's not always going to be leadoff triples and doubles, and he's getting on first and stealing 2 bags. It's not always going to be that, but you give yourself the opportunity to set up big innings right away and jump on these teams right away, which is really going to be important because they have Miami for the next 3. Then it's Cincinnati, Colorado, Cincinnati.
Yeah.
Cincinnati's kind of struggling, but you need to beat those guys to win the division. So even in that scenario, get after these guys. Get off to the races, and he gives you the opportunity to do that.
100%. And I want to address, Anne's got a really good comment here. She said he's only the leadoff in the first inning, basically. He doesn't look at enough pitches to be the leadoff. 100% that Ian Happ has a lot of qualities in a leadoff hitter that you want to see, right? He's patient. He takes pitches. I mean, Kyle Tucker, I think, even said it himself. He's like, by the time I get up there, I've seen everything this guy has because Ian Happ has had like a 5, 6, 7 pitch at bat. So yeah, 100%. Like, that's great qualities. It's the chaos that I'm really leaning on here. It's the factor that like is not going to be in the box score of what was the domino effect of Pete Crow Armstrong being the leadoff guy when the lineup turns over as well. Like Vidal Brujan gets on, if John Birdie's batting 9th, if Nico Horner still is batting 8th and hits a double, and then Birdie gets out, and then PCA is now up with a man on second with 1 out or 2 outs. I don't know about you guys. I'd rather have Pete up with a runner on base than Ian Happ with a runner on base. I think for the same reason, Ann, that you said that Pete Crow Armstrong only leads off once, Ian Happ only leads off once. So I would like to see that with that lineup turnover and us having the best 7, 8, 9 hitters in the league, because that's the stat that keeps on being flashed up there, we're going to have someone on base for that lineup turning over more often than not. Who's more likely to do damage right now to bring those runners in? It's Pete. And that's why a big reason as well why I really want to see him there. It's not going to happen, but again, like I would love to see if we could just bat him second. Dave says Happ, Tucker, Seiya, PCA. So PCA batting 4th. Wow. How about that? Bush, Dansby, Nico, Amaya, Shaw. That would be something.
I mean, I don't like that. But I'm not. I mean,
don't like that.
Well, I mean, he's been the hottest hitter. So put him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I don't care. He's been their best hitter. So I guess it doesn't really matter. Just skill set. What? Actually, you know what? I can't even say that because he leads the team in home runs. So never mind. You know what? It doesn't matter. He's been that good. Sure. Put him at 4.
Yeah. Davis. Who's Davis? I don't know who Davis is, but he's saying he's high as a kite. So the only other thing that I will say is, and Madeline made a good point about this, is there it is. So Happ, PCA, Tucker, that's 3 lefties in a row if there's a righty on the mound. So for that reason, I do think that would be difficult. So that is the only reason that I would say don't do this. And I don't think that I want to see what's his face. I don't think I want to see Seiya batting in front of Tucker. So yeah, I mean, for that reason, that would be the only reason I think we don't do this. But again, just bat Happ 5th and bat PCA leadoff. Anyway, we've talked about it enough. That's my thoughts.
Well, and what good problems to have. The fact that
exactly.
oh, we have too many good hitters. Where
Yeah.
should we bat them? I mean, it's crazy. We didn't even talk about Dansby Swanson, who just keeps rolling. We didn't talk about Nico Horner, who had a nice weekend. Like, we just have all these nice problems to have. When's the last time we could say that?
Yeah. By the way, quickly, Nico, 6 for 12, 6 runs, 4 RBIs, and a stolen base this weekend. That's really good.
Yeah. And he's like 8th on the list of things we had to get to today. I mean, they played really well this weekend. So even though it was like, okay, we took care of business, it's all good. Everybody had really good weekends. There wasn't like, oh God, that guy kind of sucked this weekend. Maybe Merriweather, because it still doesn't look great. But by his standards lately, hey, not bad. He only gave up 1 today. So it's just, yeah, what a weekend. And we want to talk to you, the fan. So Kyle, do we have a like count?
We do. It's 35. So here's what I say. Here's what I say. If we can get 5 more likes, I'm good with lowering. I'll lower the standards just for you guys. I'm just that nice of a person. I'm going to lower my standards, my personal ones. So we're at 35. Can we get 5 more likes? I want to hear from people. Like, I don't want to have to say no. We're not going to open up. There we go. Rojo Cube just said he liked it. There we go. 37. Come on, give me 3 more likes. We got 3 more likes, and we're going to open up I mean, I know Jacob is in here. He's itching. Sounds like Ann is itching to do this. I'm guessing Will is going to want to talk. David's going to want to talk. You got to give them the mic here. There's 61 people in here. Can you not, just out of the kindness of your heart, even if you're a White Sox fan and you're in here, just go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get to 40 and let's give this mic up to the audience. Well, hey, we did it. There we go. 40. Woo, confetti. Okay. What do you say? Should we do that? Is that what's next? You want to go to break first?
Yeah. Why don't we hear from our friends at Obvious Shirts, and while our friends at Obvious Shirts are yapping, we'll throw the link in the comments for you. But here's Jesus, let's try English this time. The joys of doing it live. Here is a message from our friends at Obvious Shirts.
Setup Nation, I want to take a quick break so that you know how you can support our channel and wear some cool swag like this. We've teamed up with Obvious Shirts to give you a chance to have your very own Setup Man shirt or hat. Pick from 3 different types of shirts, or my personal favorite, the trucker hat. Go to the link in the description of this video and podcast to claim your Setup Man apparel. And thank you so much for supporting our channel.
Holy smokes, that call line really filled up. But first, actually, we should lay out the ground rules for this, okay? So there won't be a clock necessarily. We will be keeping a clock. So please try and be as efficient as possible so we can get to as many calls as we have, because, oh my goodness, is our chat filling up in the background.
Yeah, it is.
So
Yeah, it is.
please, when you call in, please be efficient so we can get in and out and get to everybody within like 45 minutes here. So, but let's start with Goose. Is that you?
Howdy, y'all.
What's happening, Goose?
Just came back from playing in a graduation band, and I listened to the Cubs game instead.
There you go.
And what'd you think about that game or the weekend?
I mean, I got yelled at by my band teacher, but it's okay.
Yeah, but they won, so it's fine.
Well, I have 2 things I want to say here. First of all, regarding today's game, and well, primarily with the lineup more, is I want to see PCA batting leadoff. For the main reason is that I want Tuck batting second. If you have an MVP type player in Kyle Tucker, what are you going to do? You're like, okay, I'm going to walk PCA to get to Tucker. No, then he's going to steal every single damn base known to man. You're going to have to throw PCA strikes. I mean, I don't know. At least that's just my feeling. But my question that I've had for a while that I've been wanting to ask you guys has nothing related to today's game. But what is that one moment or multiple moments that really made you a baseball fan?
Oh, goodness.
Ooh, all right.
Baseball fan, not a Cubs fan, just baseball fan in general?
It could be both.
For me, it really, I mean, I became a Cub fan because of my family. So my connection to baseball outside of playing it since I was all of 2 years old, to the point where I blew out my elbow in high school. It's just a family connection for me. Baseball, yes, it's a sport, but for me, it's more than that. And that's why I bleed this team. And that's why I have all this gear behind me, because it's more, yes, it's a celebration of my team, but I love this sport because I love my family. So for me, they're the same. Kyle is looking for memorabilia.
I am. I 1 second. Okay, I don't have the actual cards in front of me. Actually, I do. 1 second.
Cards.
These were like the first 3 cards that I really cared about getting. So you got your Griffey rookie, you got your McGuire rookie, and you got your Sosa rookie. And by the way, that's a 10 out of 10 gem mint Sosa rookie. Like that. I was a card collector. I was just a collector of anything growing up. Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, all that stuff. When I got baseball cards in my hand, like I remember being so anal retentive about keeping the Griffey rookie in great shape that I like literally wrapped it in like a case so that I couldn't even see it because I didn't want to like even scratch the case. Like there was just something mentally for me about like collecting baseball cards that hit so closer to home. I don't know what it is, Jacob. But that just made me love baseball before I even started watching a game. I can't even tell you what it is, but that's a great question, man. Thank you for asking that.
If I might quickly say mine, it's a combination of, I guess, 3 moments. Well, my dad was a card collector, and he got me into that. So I have quite a few cards at my house, quite a few valuable ones as well.
Nice.
But the 2 moments that stand out was back. It would have been 2014. It might not be 2014 actually, but it was a Junior Lake home run, and that is the first baseball memory I have.
Junior Lake home run. How about that?
That makes me feel old, real old. I know you're in high school yet, but my God, that makes me feel old. Junior Lake.
Yeah, and then the other one was the second Jake Arrieta no-hitter, as that was one of my favorite players growing up, and that was like one of the first games I remember watching all the way through. Granted, at 9 years old, but
it's good stuff, man.
Yeah, Jacob, we got to roll, but thank you for calling in, sir.
Good to see you, man. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday.
Talk to you later, Mav. Those aviators, man.
I
Those
love
are
it.
Top Gun quality.
I love it.
Let's keep it rolling. Let's open the line to Eddie. Oh,
Eddie.
that's Dave.
Oh, that's Dave.
It's not Eddie, man.
Eddie's next.
Yeah, Eddie will be next. But Dave, welcome to the program.
Eddie was my dad. Okay, there's Billy Williams and Ernie Banks right there.
Ooh, that's pretty.
That's it. So
That's pretty.
let me just. So I said in the comments that I think PCA should bat fourth. Right now, he is driving in runs, and you want your cleanup hitter to clean up, and PCA is cleaning up. That's why because you watch PCA, he gets on, and then Tucker's like taking pitches he might swing at because he wants to see if PCA is going to steal. This offense clicked with Hap leading off, with Tuck batting second and Sayed third, and those two would flip depending on if it was lefty righty. But Council's always stuck Tucker and Sayed 2-3, and I wouldn't mess with that. If Hap comes back and he's healthy, lead him off and put PCA fourth and give him protection with Michael Busch behind him. Dansby 6. Tell me there's not a top 6 that's better in baseball right now.
Yeah.
I know you didn't like it, Alex, but
Well, here the reason I don't like it, and I didn't articulate it well, but after sitting on it for a minute, could it be, and I'm just asking the question, chat, don't get mad at me. I brought something up about Kyle Tucker last week, and y'all jumped down my throat. I'm just asking a question. Is PCA exceeding our expectations because he's got the protection of MVP caliber, even though right at the moment he's more of a name than stats because he hasn't been good for a couple weeks now. But because he has that protection, is that something that's lifting him up a little bit? So if he goes to 4, his protection is now Michael Busch and Dansby Swanson, who Michael Busch had a good game today. Dansby's had a good couple weeks. I just wonder. I'm just asking the question.
well, it's like you guys said, it's a good problem to have.
Yes.
And it's nice to see that we have an offense. And I just wanted to look something up. PCA is on pace for a 10-WAR season.
Isn't that crazy?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I Baseball Reference up right now. In his last 7 days, he has an OPS of 1298. Is that good? His
bit.
last 28 days, 975, and his last 365 days. So the last year, which includes the 2 months when he came back up and he didn't hit, his OPS is 751, where he had a 500 OPS in June and early July of last year. This kid, and for all the PCA haters, I am so glad that they are finally having to take that PCA footlong sub and eat it. This kid is just, and if they bring Shaw up tomorrow, just stick him at third base and give him the same 2 months that you all gave PCA last year to figure it out. And look what happened.
Yeah.
We've got the 8 other hitters. We could afford to put Shaw in the 9 hole and carry him until he gets comfortable with the 8 other guys that are hitting in front of him.
I 100% agree with the Shaw thing. I want to go back to what you said, Alex, because I just snapped this so that you can see, small sample size, but his best spot so far is leadoff, and then batting 7th has been really the only other spot he's been given enough sample size to see what he's good at and what protection does he have behind him in the 8th hole. So like, I don't know. I don't know if like it's a protection thing, let alone just like he's just a really stinking good baseball player. And he's somehow doing a really good job as well of hitting strikes and balls. Like that's one of the things that I know Lance has talked about on Marquee. And like, even if they try to get him to chase, he's going to strike out, but he's also going to hit those balls every once in a while. So, I mean, my biggest thing is because there's so much flexibility in this lineup, even if you put him, God, let's just say you put him 4th, like Dave is saying, if he struggles for 2 games, you just move him around and he's fine. Like it doesn't have to be a mind, what, to a young man's ego and momentum that he's got going here.
Look, I know you guys got a bunch more people that want to call in, so I'll make this brief. PCA in the White Sox series, to me, in that very first at bat, bottom of the first, did not look at enough pitches. He was wanting to jump on something, and that's the difference between still a young kid. Remember, he's only 23. Yep. And Ian Happ, who would wear a pitcher out for 7-8 pitches in his first at bat in the bottom of the first. That's where I think the offense wasn't broke when Ian got hurt. So why not throw him back in the 1 hole? And then you can play with PCA in some different places. But look, PCA is he's coming into his own. This is a joy to watch, and he's making the league minimum. I mean, he's going to be a 10 WAR player by the time we get to September, making about 800,000 this year.
I'm guessing. I have no info. I haven't talked to anybody. I'm guessing they probably fixed that by this offseason.
God, I would hope so. Well, right now he might turn down 10 years and 150.
I think he's turning down 10 years and 200. Like, I mean, he's pricing himself out of any sort of hometown discount.
Yeah, he might give us a hometown discount just because the Cubs stuck with him when he was having problems last year. The crowd loves him. The fan base loves him. I would be willing to bet, and Kyle, maybe you can pull this up in one of your future podcasts. He's got to be the number 1 selling jersey, not only for the Cubs, but he's got to be now top 10 in baseball.
That actually would be something good to look up. I know typically when they open all-star voting, sometimes they do that. But Dave, we got to roll. But thank you for calling in, sir.
See you, boys. Go Cubs.
All right, now we'll do Eddie.
Yes, Eddie.
I
clicked on the right one this time. Welcome to the show.
What's up, man?
How are you guys? Let's talk lineup construction for a second, okay?
Okay.
So you want your number 2 hitter to be your best hitter, right? Like that's modern baseball. Does anyone disagree that Kyle Tucker needs to be that guy? I think most people say that. Maybe someone's hot, someone's not, but consistently, that's the guy you're counting on. You want your number 1 hitter to be someone who gets on base in front of those guys, right? The say Kyle Tucker's. PCA is great, a hot hitter. And then the goal would be every part you move back in the lineup, you're getting about 10 less at bats a year. So you want your best hitters behind that. Ian Happ has, I think, 20 to 30 points more on base than PCA does. Love PCA. I love the way he sets the table and gets his spark plug going. But all the things we said about why Ian's a prototypical hitter, he's not currently driving the ball the way you would want a middle of the lineup bat to be, and he's getting on base. I think sticking him right back in the one hole. Then you saw, was it Wednesday when they had a lefty starter? They were like, well, we can't put PCA in the one hole, whether you agree with that or not. You have that, like, I'm starting with these three guys every game and I can count on it. I think that's the right way to do it. I think they're moving PCA up from like a 6-7 spot to a 4-5 spot. To Dave's point, makes sense. The only thing in his lineup construction I would kind of play with is flipping Dansby to 5, Bush to 6, because as you guys have seen, Craig likes to make sure he's not stacking righties and lefties, and there's like an automatic pinch hit there if there's a lefty coming in, so you don't have two at bats there. So just a little feedback there. I think. Go ahead.
Can I give a hypothetical?
Yeah.
What about Tucker 1, PCA 2?
The only reason I don't like that is you're guaranteed one at bat a game without Tucker with anyone on base. Guaranteed, because that's what leadoff hitter. You get one at bat, guaranteed, no one on base. Now, over the time, you're probably not going to get as many with people on base in the 2 as some others, but that's the reason to put your best hitter 2, is to try to have them the most at bats while still having the most opportunities.
Yeah.
So I still have him in the 2 hole.
Well, here's what I'll say, and I'm not, the Cubs don't have what the Dodgers have, because the Dodgers have their first 3 batters are Hall of Famers, and then their number 4 batter is legit in Teoscar Hernandez. But man, I mean, that Shohei leading off thing really like took him to the next level when they finally started doing that. And with the Cubs being the only team in Major League Baseball that have even 3 players in their lineup with double-digit home runs, it's kind of like, I don't know, like, is it worth the try? He's in a slump. Maybe you just try to get him right by getting in this mindset of seeing more pitches to start the game. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think it's like out of the question, but I would still go the other way. I think it's worth a conversation. I think on the third base fund, I think I put it in the chat. We know we love to play Moneyball with this Cubs ownership group. I would think if they are, once all these cards fall down, I think Nicky Lopez will be the one to go. I know, to your baseball points, I kind of agree with you on all of it. The defense, if you're having a replacement player, he doesn't need to be this world-beating hitter, but the Angels signed him to his deal this year, and then we got him for scraps, league minimum. John Birdie's making $2 million. I don't know what Brujan's contract is, to be honest, but if we're playing Moneyball trying to stay under the luxury tax and you have all those options, I would think he'd be the one to go. And I do think there's probably some handshake back end deal. Hey, we want you on a guaranteed contract here. If we have this guy in AAA. If we do DFA you, we still want you in the organization, because he would get to either elect free agency or accept a minor league assignment. So I think if they agreed to a major league deal for a player like that, I would think there's something in the background there as well.
Yeah, the Nicky Lopez thing, I see the chat is like, oh, it's Nicky Lopez, Nicky Lopez. You're right. The money conversation, we probably should have thrown that into our conversation, because I do think that's going to play a factor. And clearly they don't like Nicky Lopez as much as Kyle and I, because why didn't he play at all this weekend? I mean, he came in for defense yesterday.
And today.
Oh, he did. Truth be told, I may have fallen asleep in the 7th inning, but so I might have missed that. But they clearly don't like him starting as much as some of us do. So maybe the front office is just like, whatever. And
the problem there is there's like, you're not getting offense production from the other guys. There's no bat right now for Nicky Lopez.
Well, the nice thing is, at least for me and my sanity, going forward, starting probably tomorrow, I'm still waiting for the notification that they're doing it, even though it seems like it. Matt Shaw will be there every day. So hallelujah, thank you, God. We don't have to necessarily worry about, oh, God, Birdie again. Oh, God, Nicky Lopez. So just me personally, selfishly, I'm happy we finally have a regular third baseman. And I hope they give him a lot of leash.
Yeah, for sure. Last thing, hey, big week. I think 1 loss this week. Keep it rolling. Go Cubs. Good baseball team.
I like that. Eddie, thank you for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
No problem, guys. Have a good one.
Thanks, Eddie. Good to see you.
And finally, saving the best for last, Corey. Hello, Corey. I believe you are a new caller, so welcome to the program.
Hi, I'm a regular watcher, but I just had one quick question. Any news on Owen Casey? I've been hearing a lot about him in potential trade talks, but I really feel that he should be a guy that we stick to, especially with Ian Happ and Seiya Suzuki on a little bit less leash as they are getting closer to the end of their contracts.
So I can tell you that Owen Casey, I believe it was either yesterday or the day before, hit a walk-off single for Iowa.
I think it was
His K
yesterday.
rate, as of I believe a couple days ago when I did a deep dive, was still at like 32%. It's really high, but he is slugging the crap out of the ball. A lot of extra base hits. His batting average is fine. It's not a world beater by any means, but he's slugging the ball. He's striking out a lot, kind of what you'd expect an Owen Casey to do. But he did hit a walk-off single either yesterday or the day before, for what that's worth.
Yeah, he struck out 49 times and 124 plate appearances. That's 39% is what I've
It's not
got.
even went up since the last time I looked.
Yeah, and unless this is wrong on MILB, that's my biggest thing with him, man. Is just like, I mean, if you're gonna do that, then you should be leading the minor leagues in home runs, and it shouldn't even be close. The fact that he's striking out that high, you can already add on another 10%. He's basically striking out every other plate appearance if he comes up to the majors. And I think it was Keith Law that didn't even put him in his top 100 prospects.
Yeah,
recently.
I saw that as well.
Yeah, and so I mean that is concerning that Owen Casey in the last 3 years this has been an issue and it just doesn't seem to be getting any better versus like a PCA who it's like, hey, he started off striking out a ton and now he's putting the ball in play more often. They see that progress. I think that's the thing that's going to hold him back. And if other teams see value where they can fix him, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it means getting a big time starter. I also wouldn't be surprised if it's Mo Baller, which I don't want to see him go either. But like, again, we just have so many of these question marks of where do these guys play? And that's where it comes down to.
Along with that, if we're going to go after a starter, I've been, hearing rumors about Sandy Alcantara, but he's been really, really iffy this year.
Yeah, bad.
Someone I would like to see us go after, if the cards fall right, though it's really rare that you see in division trades,
Oh boy, I know where
is
this is going.
Freddie Peralta.
Oh,
wow. Okay.
Well, let me
like
just tell you, I was at the Brewer game yesterday. They were taking on the Twins, and Pablo Lopez was pitching. That's another guy that's been in talks. I mean, that Milwaukee team, I just don't see it. And I was going to save this for a later episode this week, but and I'll do a deeper dive on that later. But for the moment, just thoughts like, I just don't see it. Their offense is bad. The vibes are terrible. Their fans were angry yesterday. The manager after the game was like, well, let's call a spade a spade. We didn't spend any money this offseason. I doubt the Brewers absolutely can't stand us. I really doubt that they would be like, oh, yeah, here's our best pitcher who's awesome. But I do think that Milwaukee is going to fall back to earth a little bit. They're still stealing bases. They still played solid defense, but I'm just telling everyone in Setup Man Nation, this Brewers team, I just personally don't see it. But Pablo Lopez, on the other hand, all right, let's talk. Let's do a little trade dance.
Yeah.
I would like to see that.
They got to get someone. They've got to get a starter. Even if Shota is dealing and comes back healthy and Colin Ray keeps doing what he's doing and Cade Horton is legit, like they just need another starter. Just one more ace or number 2 at the very least.
Yeah. Like at the beginning of the season, I was all for the Sandy Alcantara, but he seems lost right now, and that's just not something I think this team can take on.
Yeah. It's a risk, and honestly, their margin for error with their rotation right now, pretty small, because if one of those guys goes down, now what? Now we're relying on Jordan Wicks? Ugh, no thanks. But, Corey, we are running up against the clock, but we appreciate you calling in, sir. Thank you for taking the time for us.
Thanks, Corey. Good to see you, man.
All right, so before we end the show today, let's just talk about the upcoming series against the Marlins. Tomorrow, we kick it off. 5:40 Central start. They are in Miami. It'll be Ben Brown versus Edward Cabrera. Cabrera on the season is 0-1 with a 5.52 ERA and 29 in the third innings pitched. Career against the Cubs, 5 games. He's 3-1, a 3.96 ERA, 25 innings, 11 earned runs allowed. Ben Brown, much better as of late. Currently, his season stats sit at 3-3 for record, a 4.75 ERA and 41 and 2/3 innings pitched. In 2 games in his career against the Marlins, he does not have a record, not a recorded loss, not a recorded win. He's 0-0 with a 2.45 ERA, only 7 1/3 innings pitched, 2 earns given up. Only one of those 2 games was a start. So that kicks off what actually is a low-key important week. They got 3 in Miami, and then they go to Cincinnati, 3 against a division rival, which that's another team we will probably talk about at some point in the near future here because they just don't look quite right. And now that Hunter Green is hurt, their best pitcher is hurt. So this is a low-key important week, Kyle, but we start in Miami. What are your expectations for the Miami series? Because me personally, I'm a little worried. I feel like Miami's been a house of horrors for these Cubs in the last couple of years.
Yeah, first of all, shout out to getting callers back in. That was fun. It's been a minute for us. And shout out to the entire chat. We got to 58 likes overall today. So that's
done.
phenomenal. So you guys came through even though we lowered the bar. Appreciate y'all. I just think that Miami is not a very good team and that the Cubs should take 2 of 3 at the minimum. It's disappointing that they only took 2 of 3 against them earlier in the week, but this was supposed to be a get right week for the Cubs, and they did just that. We said bottom floor 4-2, be great to go 5-1. It would be a crazy occurrence if they swept both teams. So 5-1, you're extremely happy with that, and I think the momentum that you take going into that, the excitement of Matt Shaw potentially coming back is what it seems like, and then Ben Brown, who's been riding high. Plus, he's really good on the road this year, so I feel good at least about tomorrow. I feel good about this series. And I would love if they could sweep the Marlins and then go into Cincinnati, because I think I'm more concerned about the Cincinnati series. Cincinnati the last couple of years has played the Cubs tough. If my feelings are correct, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure they played the Cubs pretty tough over there at Great American Ballpark. So I would love if the pressure was a little bit lower going into that Cincinnati series, sweep the Marlins. If you lose a series against the Reds, you still go 4-2 for the week. If you win that series, now you're talking about back-to-back weeks of 5-1. And now we're talking about this stretch of 21 games. We had started it off saying, hey, let's go and get 15 out of 21 wins. Ideally, if you go 13 or 14 wins, that's fine. But man, if the thing start off 10-2 against this easy schedule, now you're talking about like, let's go for the jugular. Let's get 16, 17 wins.
And especially the Cardinals have been red hot. So, and they lost, I believe they lost again today. So hopefully if they keep winning, they just stretch out that lead, even though we're not to Memorial Day yet. Standings aren't really a thing at the moment, but let's lengthen that standings lead a little bit. And actually our friend Break Even Tom said against the Reds, Cubs were 5-8, but we will cover that later in the week. But and I'm all
just a reminder, this is my last show for a couple of weeks.
Yes.
We are having little Anthony Stanley on Tuesday. So thoughts and prayers would be appreciated. And I'll miss you guys. So enjoy Alex and Ty and the whole crew while I'm gone there for a couple weeks.
And if you don't enjoy us, well, I'm sorry. You're stuck with us. You don't have a choice. So
that's not possible.
No, shucks. All right. On that happy note, thank you for watching. The Cubs finally win on a Sunday. Hallelujah. And also, just quick side note, that's why I fear they're going to win 2 out of 3 in Miami. Fear they win a series again, because they have to play on Wednesday. So we'll see how that goes. But we'll see. They won on Sunday. Maybe the curse is lifted. I don't know. But for Kyle, I am Alex. Thank you to the callers. Make sure on your way out the door, even though we're not taking callers at the moment, hit that like button. Let's keep those likes climbing. Thank you for all that were in the comments. Hit that subscribe button on your way out the door. Kyle and I are going to go ice up. Cubs sweep. We'll see you tomorrow, Ty and I, after the Miami Marlins game. So long, everybody.